Good morning, Abby. How are you this morning? Are you good? Morning, J-Bud.
Good morning.
How'd you sleep?
Good.
Good. Nice. The ducks are starting to lay again. Woohoo! Hello everyone, welcome back to the homestead. Today it is warm and sunny out and we're here in the greenhouse. I've got the two little ones with me and I'm hopeful to start some seeds today. We're going to do a little bit of winter sowing. The greenhouse does stay about 10 degrees warmer than it is outside. So I'm going to be starting some of the cold weather things and some perennial flowers. Then we'll just go from there. I'm also hoping to start some compost today. So we'll see if we get that far. Hey, you going to help us in the greenhouse?
Yep.
Yep. Getting it all ready, huh? I've got my Ziploc bag with all of my seed packets and I've already labeled my little tags. So now we're mixing up the soil. It's black gold seed starting soil and we put a bunch of water in it. Now Abby's helping to mix that water in and then we'll get all of our containers filled and ready to plant.
Yep. A little too much. A little too much. Mommy space. In the greenhouse, we're in the greenhouse. In the greenhouse, in the greenhouse. We're in the greenhouse. We're in the greenhouse.
All right, we've got all of our various containers filled up. Different sizes and shapes and purposes for all these different containers. This is going to be our winter sow jug. It'll actually go outside. So now I'm going to start putting all my labels in and see if I've filled enough containers. I don't really have a count on how many slots I need, so we'll see. Hopefully we've got enough filled. If not, we'll fill some more. Got Esther Pie in here helping out now, and I think we've got enough spots for everything. I got all of my labels in. I'm using this salad mix container for starting onions. I'm going to do multi-sowed onions in there. I'm using red wing onion and then also some saved seed from last year. And then on these little slots here all across the back are brassicas, mostly cabbage. Got little fingers going in. And then most of the ones across the front here are perennial flowers. And then these bigger containers here, I've got space for lots of different lettuces. Always trying to find some favorite lettuce varieties. So I'm just going to sow a bunch of seed and then later I will prick them out into individual containers. And then I've got these containers here that you can actually bury, and those are for two different pea varieties, Sugar Ann and Sugar Magnolia tendril pea. So these will just grow and get quite large before they go out into the garden. Got a little egg container here for some Walla Walla sweet onions that are actually going to go inside. And last but not least, we've got this little container here that will go outside for the winter sow method, and it's going to be black barlow columbine, which is a really deep purple color of columbine. So it'll be my first time doing the winter sow method in a container like this. I've always just used either planted things inside or used our greenhouse. And in the greenhouse here I do put domes over all of these initially, and I'll take the domes on and off depending on the weather so that they don't get too hot or too cold. So now it's time to put the seeds in, and now is when I typically have the little ones go somewhere else. I'll let them put just a few seeds in, but I found with little ones and doing a lot of small delicate seed work like this, it's best to get them on another project. I'll probably keep Esther in here because she knows how to handle the tiny seeds. You girls having fun?
Yeah.
Filling up containers.
Okay, so we got all the seeds in the soil, and now we're just gonna put a little bit of vermiculite on top of all of them.
Great, so we put the vermiculite on just to make sure that they don't dry out or get too wet and rot.
Yep.
All right, and then we just have one last step. We're gonna water these. The soil is pretty damp already, but I wanna just make sure that they've got all the water that they need to keep them happy. And then I think we're gonna go out to our main crop area and start building some compost heaps. We have about 1 month until I'm ready to start putting stuff out in our garden, and we don't have any ready compost right now. We do have a little bit of stuff that's got weed seed in it, but I don't want to use that on the garden. So we're gonna try the Berkeley method for the first time ever and see if we can get a decent amount of compost made over the next month, so that when it comes time to put these out in the ground, they'll have nice fresh compost to be set down into. Almost forgot that one. This is one of your favorite things to do, huh, Esther Pie?
Yep.
The vermiculite is so soft and airy and light. It's fun to sprinkle. Almost like you're baking, huh?
Yeah. Bye-bye, seeds.
They're all set and ready to grow. All right, we're out in the main crop area now. Not a main crop yet, but this is the space where our future main crop garden is hopefully gonna go. This is the first step in creating compost using the Berkeley method, and that is putting some sticks down to create a kind of a little air pocket at the bottom of the pile. So here's our first load. What is this, Josh, that you've got in the wheelbarrow?
This is just cow manure and hay.
Right, mostly hay that's probably been urinated in, and then a little bit of other stuff. All right, next is a bucket of sawdust, kind of sprinkled around the edge.
That looking pretty good?
Yeah, you can go ahead and put the whole bucket on. Nice. And we're kind of, each time we put more on, creating a little bit of a volcano, so that the next load that goes into the center and doesn't want to go out as much. Because the goal, J-Bud, the goal is to make a 3-foot circle, so 3-foot diameter, and then about 4 feet or 5 if we can get it, but we'll try for 4 feet high. Think we can do it?
Yeah.
Next load. This time they mostly just got the old hay because the first batch had a lot of manure in it. Make a little hole in the middle. We'll go get another bucket of sawdust. And then after that, we're gonna put in some greens. We're gonna try and find some chickweed and things from the garden, and also some chicken manure. They'll go right in the very center of the whole heap. So I think ideally we would be using straw because straw tends to have a little bit less weed seed, but we don't have straw. We just got the extra hay that the cows sat in, laid in, manured in, just the scrap hay that they're not going to eat anyway. So hopefully, with the idea is that this pile will get hot enough and we'll turn it enough times that all the weed seed will eventually have a turn in the center where it gets so hot it destroys the seed. The idea is you build the pile, and after 4 or 5 days you check the temperature in the center, and if it's up to about 120, then at that point you rotate the whole thing, starting with all the outer edges, so kind of peeling it like an onion, and you turn it all into a new spot. So then the inside ends up going on the outside, and then from that point forward, about every other day you rotate the pile, making sure that it doesn't get above 150-ish degrees. So that's the goal, and if this pile is working well, we're actually probably going to do another 4 or 5 like it out here in this main crop area. If it all works, that should give us enough compost for all of our current garden beds, just to top them off with a good inch or 2 of fresh compost. If you'd like to learn more about this method of composting from an expert, check out the Roots and Refuge Farm channel. They recently just did a kind of like a mini class on how to start a compost heap like this. Definitely check them out if you want more information on this system. So in order to help get this pile hot, we're going to be putting the chicken manure right in the center, and then we're going to try and do about 3 buckets of as much green as we can get from the garden here. We've got a lot of chickweed and some other just kind of ground cover weeds that are going through our pathways here. You can see the pathway right there. That's how we want it to look. So we're just going to keep clearing out to go into that compost heap, since we don't want them in the garden pathways here anyway. Almost full. We're going to fill up this one. This is, I think, a 7-gallon bucket, and then the 5-gallon bucket as well.
And I'm supervising.
Good job, Jay. A little bit. Oh, lost it. Some dried comfrey in here too. It's a heavy one, huh? Yep. Good job, Jay. Woo.
It's important while you're building the pile to make sure you water it really well. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, we have a solar well, so we'll see if there's enough sunlight to get the water to come out.
Yep.
Hopefully. Oh!
Well,
I guess the water's there, huh?
Yeah.
You just got sprayed.
Jay's like, that's happened to me many times.
Yeah, putting the water to the ear to see if it's coming or not. And then it's spraying you. There it is, yay! So it needs a lot of water, more water than I really thought. When I watched the video, Roots and Refuge Farm, they just sat watering it for quite a while. That was cold, huh?
Well, actually not too bad.
Okay. Alright, we had a quick lunch and now we're back to it. Just going to put a couple more wheelbarrow loads of the old hay and more water, more sawdust.
How much?
A good amount. It takes a lot of water. Boys are going to get the last load of hay while Esther waters here. So here's our big sawdust mound that we have in the back of the house here. It's right on the edge of the forest. It's been really nice having almost an endless supply of sawdust to use on the homestead.
Yeah.
Strong girl. Alright, last load. Here it comes. Ooh, nice. It's almost 4 feet.
Can we pour this on?
So we pour this right on top, Mama?
Yeah, we can go ahead and put the last bucket of sawdust as well. Good work, guys.
Thank you.
Super exciting.
Stop running off.
I know, the sawdust likes to just run away. That looks like a happy pile of potential, doesn't it, Jay?
Yep.
Yay! Super excited. Alright, we just covered it, huh, Josh?
Yep.
And that's to keep it from getting too wet because we get some pretty crazy rains here, huh?
Yeah.
So it's good for it to stay moist, but not too moist. Well, cool. Thanks for helping build our first Berkeley compost heap.
You're welcome.
So I know we could put some fence around it to kind of hold it all in. And actually, I would like to do more compost heaps like that in the future, but we just don't have any extra fence available that's the right size right now. The never-ending job of hauling in wood and stacking it, huh?
Right? Yeah. We gotta get this stacked so that we have room for the new stuff.
Kip's been working today getting a whole truckload of firewood off the land. And of course the boys have been helping.
Oh yeah.
All right, so a little recap on the pile that we made today. I guess recipe, so to speak, is we did a total of 4 wheelbarrow loads full of just waste hay that had been soiled and trampled on and that the cows just weren't going to eat. And mixed in with that first load was a lot of manure as well. And for each of those 4 loads, we did 1 bucket full of sawdust. And then right in the center, we put a couple buckets full of greens and soil from the garden, as well as a half a bucket full of chicken manure. I think that was about it. Then plenty of water, and then we covered it. And so we will check it in about 4 or 5 days and see what temperature it's at, make sure it's gotten hot in the middle, and if so, then we will start the process of turning it every other day until it is ready to be put on the garden. And once everything's good and thawed out in the spring, we're going to be filling up this space with a ton of compost, maybe quite literally a ton. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Thank you so much to our patrons who make these videos possible. We really appreciate all your support. Again, thank you to the people who've been getting things off our Amazon wish list. That's been such a huge blessing. And please leave a comment below if you've got any good ideas for us on composting. We have a little experience, but obviously not a lot, so we're still learning a lot about how to make good compost. So if you have experience, please leave us a comment below. Thank you all so much for joining us on the homestead again today. Until next time, we pray blessings over you and yours, and whatever you do, do it with your whole heart.
Oh my God.